We are all excited for Patrick and Ken. As long as I can remember, there has never been Patrick without Ken or Ken without Patrick. They've always been a joint team, but there was a time in their lives before they knew each other. And what I wanted to do as I got ready for this is I wanted to know what their first opinions of each other were. So I emailed them and I had them send them to me separately. So I'm gonna say a couple questions that I sent them and sent their party. And no one has heard these answers before except for me, so this will be exciting. So the first question I said, what was your first impression of the other? And Patrick said, Ken was the smart, beautiful cheerleader who never stopped talking in class.
But Ken is also so thoughtful and caring. Reflecting on our friendship with Ken, Jessica and I both agreed just how understanding she is. Though our lives are busy, Ken is always a friend you can pick up exactly where you left off with.
Ever since you were a little guy, you've always surrounded yourself with friends. Not just good friends, but friends you believe in. So, in the morning, you and I walked into your class together, and she pulled me aside right away. She smiled at me and said, "It seems we have a problem here, one that we've never had before. You see, each morning when you drop little Patrick off, he literally runs into his classroom. He is so excited to see everyone, he actually tries to hug them all at once. This creates a huge pile of giggling 4-year-olds, and it sends them tumbling to the floor. It looks a bit chaotic and out of control to the other parents. We only wish the other classrooms had half the enthusiasm that Patrick does when he sees his friends. This enthusiasm has carried you through the years. Your passion for life and those you love is endless. Every time I think I couldn't be prouder of you, something else happens and reminds me how fortunate I am to be your mom."
My first impression of Patrick went something like this. "Hey Patrick, nice haircut." He responded with "thanks" in a monotone voice and walked away. 4 years later, my first impression changed. He's quiet and slowly warms up to people, hence why my initial compliment 4 years ago was ignored. Then, after spending some time with our friends, I realized that Patrick is genuine, truly cared for his friends. He's really funny and the definition of a nice guy.
Whether it was leaving Yard House at lunch for our finals and having to rush back for our last finals after lunch and maybe a drink, or eating pizza in our PJs at your bachelorette party, there's always laughter and there's always fun. And I think I know a memory that Kayla and I both cherish is the trip that Ken and I took up to Healdsburg to visit Kayla right after we graduated from college. And we decided to float down the Russian River in the middle of the drought. And we had our floaties in tow. We ended up walking most of it because the water was too shallow. And then Ken told us something that we felt like was important to share, which was, "I'm so impressed you got me out here because the only outdoors I do are outdoor malls." And it was it was the beginning of many, many moments. That was the first trip I feel like we took, and it's the first of many great ones to follow.
After 3 months of hanging out with a group of friends, homecoming was our first official date. It was an all-day affair. He showed up to the game to watch and support me cheer, but we also knew that he was there for football. We had In and Out for our first date. We danced to Taylor Swift and capped the night off with Slurpees. That should be a good indicator of how well our relationship was going to turn out. I couldn't have imagined a better first date.
I love how caring you are and how you put the needs of others before yourself. I love your sense of humor and how you almost always, laugh at my dumb jokes. I love your drive to succeed and perfect everything you do in life, whether it's to be the best at your job or the best in the gym. You're beautiful and you'll always light up a room when you enter it.
When he was choosing like a career path, he would choose to be a mechanic and choose to be a flight attendant, choose to go to art school, and then he got to the fire. And when he was trying to decide what car he wanted to drive, he would research for hours. Then he would decide on a car, and then the next month he would start it all over again, buy and sell, nonstop. But there was one thing that he was never indecisive about, and that was Ken.
I mustered up the courage to ask you to be my girlfriend. We both didn't know it at the time, but it was without a doubt the best decision I've ever made.
Patrick, I want you to know that you are someone I have longed for. And today we become husband and wife. A little less than 10 years ago, you asked me to be your girlfriend. Without hesitation, I said yes. A little over a year ago, we stood in front of the Eiffel Tower. You asked me to spend a lifetime with you. Again, without hesitation, I said yes. Today, in front of our family and friends, we'll say, I do. And I want you to know that I have never been more sure about anything else in my life.
Ken says, if you asked any 17-year-old, marriage should be the furthest thing from their mind. Or it could be the complete opposite. Luckily, through all these years, Patrick and I grew together both as individuals and as a couple. Patrick never fails to remind me that because we have each other, we can get through anything. And one day, without a shadow of a doubt, I know he'll make the best husband and father. I'm not crying, you guys are crying. That's whew, nice. Here's the best part. Patrick, you may now kiss the bride.